girl clearly remembered being abandoned at her grandmother's house by her mother right after birth. It was her adoptive parents who, with over a decade of loving care, gave her complete warmth and affection. Even though she lived just a wall away from her birth mother's home, every time she saw her mother growing up, she never felt close to her, only an uncontrollable anger. On her first day reporting to college, her mother insisted on seeing her off. After she dropped her off at the dorm, the two of them busied themselves cautiously, avoiding deep interaction. Several times, her mother tried to express her concern, but the words got stuck in her throat. Not until her daughter told her to leave did her mother's eyes reveal a barely hidden disappointment, though she forced herself to stay composed. Watching her mother's lonely figure, the girl quickly asked if she had bought her return ticket. Hearing her mother say today's tickets were sold out and she had bought one for tomorrow, she urged her to find a hotel and not to skimp on money. Even though the concern came out somewhat awkwardly in that moment, her mother's disappointment vanished. Before leaving, she couldn't help looking back repeatedly, wanting to steal a few more glances at her daughter. But to save money, her mother didn't go to a hotel. Instead, she quietly made her way to a bench on the school's sports field. When her new roommate urged her own parents to book a hotel and not end up like those parents sleeping on the field, it unintentionally struck a chord with the girl. She immediately thought of her mother. Without a second thought, she rushed out of the dorm and ran desperately toward the sports field. By the time she reached it, her heart skipped a beat. There, on a bench not far away, lay her mother, curled up, silently resting, looking so small and lonely in the night. For the first time in over a decade, an ache of compassion overwhelmed her. She didn't wake her sleeping mother. She just walked softly to the bench and sat down quietly, staying by her side in silence. Memories came flooding back like a tidal wave. She remembered how her grandmother, unable to care for her, had sent her, young, wearing only thin shoes, to travel alone over 1,000 miles to find her mother. But when she finally met her mother, she casually tossed her a pair of oversized shoes. Later, she handed her off to her adoptive parents. She realized her mother had never truly cared for her, never even asked if the shoes fit, and those ill-fitting shoes accompanied her throughout her entire childhood, becoming a regular target for her classmates' teasing. Every day, someone would make fun of her shoes. Later, sensing her guilt, her mother tried to make amends by buying her a new pair, still without asking her size. Once again, they didn't fit. Seeing those shoes, the girl's pent-up hurt and resentment finally exploded. Her adoptive mother also scolded her birth mother, saying, "Not even knowing your own daughter's shoe size? What kind of mother are you?" But deep down, what the girl truly wanted was never a pair of shoes. It was her mother's genuine care and love. As time passed, her mother kept trying to close the distance, yet she still refused to step inside her mother's home. Even when she noticed her mother's injured arm, she just stared silently, saying nothing. She wanted to understand her mother's struggles, but the wounds of over a decade ran too deep, fearing that one wrong move might hurt them both again. It wasn't until this moment that she understood. Her mother must have had her own hardships back then. And finally, she made peace with herself and chose to forgive her.